The Cold War wasn't fought with just armies and spies. It was fought with money, secret money, billions of dollars moving through hidden networks. The CIA funded entire governments, bought elections, financed coups, all with cash that Congress never approved and American voters never knew about. The KGB did the same, funding communist parties worldwide, financing revolutions, paying politicians and journalists. Both sides built shadow economies, parallel financial systems operating outside normal banking, moving billions invisibly. This is the story of how the Cold War was actually funded, not through official budgets, but through secret slush funds, drug money, arms sales, and financial manipulation. The money trail reveals the truth. The Cold War wasn't about ideology, it was about control, and money was the weapon. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn will change how you see every Cold War event, every coup, every revolution, every proxy war. They all have the same thing in common: hidden money making them possible. Let's start with how the CIA got its secret money. Because Congress wasn't funding their operations, CIA is created. Official budget, $4.7 billion annually. But the CIA's actual operations cost far more, especially the secret ones, the coups, the assassinations, the propaganda networks. So where did the extra money come from? Source 1, the Marshall Plan, 1948 a 1952. US gives $13 billion to rebuild Europe after World War II. That's $150 plus billion in today's money. But here's what nobody knew. 5 to 10% of Marshall Plan money was secretly diverted to CIA operations. How? Front companies, fake reconstruction projects, inflated invoices, money sent to rebuild Germany actually funded anti-communist operations in Italy. Money for French infrastructure paid for CIA assets in Eastern Europe. The CIA skimmed $500 million to $1 billion from Marshall Plan. Congress had no idea. European governments didn't know. The money just disappeared into CIA operations. Source 2, drug trafficking. This is documented fact. Declassified documents prove it. 1950s, 1970s, CIA needed to fund anti-communist groups in Southeast Asia, especially during Vietnam War. The problem? These groups had no money, and Congress wouldn't fund them directly. The solution? Allowed them to traffic drugs. The CIA protected opium trade in Laos, Thailand, and Burma. Local warlords grew opium, processed into heroin, shipped to markets. CIA provided protection, transportation, and intelligence. The money funded anti-communist militias. The CIA got free assets. The warlords got rich. By 1970s, Southeast Asian heroin controlled 70% of US market. The CIA's partners were responsible. Source 3, arms sales. CIA would buy weapons, sell them to allies at markup, keep the profit, or facilitate arms sales between countries. Take a cut, or seize weapons from enemies. Sell them on black market. This generated hundreds of millions annually, all off the books. Source 4, front companies. CIA owned hundreds of companies. Airlines, construction firms, import-export businesses. These companies did real business, but they also moved money, laundered funds, created cover for operations. Air America, the CIA's airline, made millions flying legitimate cargo while also transporting operatives, weapons, and drugs. By 1960s, CIA's hidden budget was estimated at $2 to $5 billion annually, double or triple their official budget, all secret, all unaccountable, all funding operations Congress never approved. But the KGB was doing the same thing, and their methods were even more sophisticated. The KGB's funding system was different but equally shadowy. Unlike the CIA, the KGB had official funding from Soviet government, but they needed additional money for foreign operations. Source 1, gold and diamonds. Soviet Union had massive gold reserves. KGB used gold to fund operations. But how do you move gold secretly? Through neutral countries. Soviet gold shipped to Switzerland, deposited in numbered accounts, used to pay agents worldwide. By 1980s, KGB had billions in Swiss accounts. Gold converted to cash, used for any purpose. They also used diamonds, easier to transport, harder to trace. Source 2, trade manipulation. Soviet state trading companies did legitimate business, but KGB skimmed from every transaction. Exports Soviet oil at official price, charge buyer a slightly higher price. Difference goes to KGB accounts. Import Western goods, report higher prices to Moscow, actual cost lower. Difference goes to KGB. This generated hundreds of millions annually, all hidden in normal trade. Source 3. Criminal networks. KGB partnered with organized crime in Europe and Asia. Soviet weapons sold to criminals. Drugs allowed into Soviet Union, despite official anti-drug stance. Stolen goods fenced through Soviet channels. The money funded operations. The criminals got protection. Source 4. Funding communist parties. This is the big one. KGB funded communist parties worldwide. Not just money. Training, equipment, propaganda support. French Communist Party received $2 to $5 million annually from KGB. Italian Communist Party received $3 to $7 million annually. Latin American communist parties received millions collectively. Asian communist movements. Massive funding. The money came through cultural organizations, front groups, labor unions, KGB-controlled student groups, KGB-funded peace movements, often KGB-fronted. Total KGB spending on foreign influence, estimated $10 billion during Cold War. But both superpowers used one funding method that dwarfed everything else: proxy wars. Here's where the money trail gets massive. Proxy wars as wealth transfer. The US and USSR didn't fight directly. They funded others to fight. And this required enormous amounts of money. Afghanistan, the most expensive proxy war, 1979 to 1989. Soviet Union invades Afghanistan. CIA decides to make it costly. CIA funding to Afghan Mujahideen. 1980, $30 million. 1985, $250 million. 1987, $630 million. Total, $3 billion. But that's just CIA money. Saudi Arabia matched US funding dollar for dollar. So total is $6 plus billion. Where did the money go? Weapons. Mostly Stinger missiles, AK-47s, RPGs, ammunition. But also, building madrasas, training camps, propaganda, paying fighters. The problem, much of this money ended up in wrong hands. Pakistani intelligence, IC skimmed billions. Afghan warlords embezzled. Weapons were sold on black markets. The CIA knew. Didn't care. Goal was bleed the Soviets. Corruption was acceptable collateral damage. The result, Soviet Union bankrupted itself in Afghanistan. But the weapons and money created Taliban and Al-Qaeda. The CIA's funding won the proxy war, but created enemies for the next generation. Nicaragua, illegal funding. 1980s. Reagan administration wants to fund Contra rebels against Nicaragua's leftist government. Problem, Congress bans funding in 1982. Boland Amendment. Solution, illegal weapons, sales and drug money. The Iran-Contra scheme. Sell weapons to Iran. Illegal. Use profits to fund Contras. Illegal. Allow Contras to traffic cocaine. Illegal. Cocaine sold in US. Creates crack epidemic. Profits. Fund more anti-communist operations. Totally illegal. But it happened. Millions of dollars moved through this network. When exposed, some officials went to jail. Most were pardoned. Angola. Diamond funding. 1975 to 1991. Civil war between communist MPLA and anti-communist UNITA. US and South Africa fund UNITA. Soviet Union and Cuba fund MPLA. UNITA is funding, mostly from diamond smuggling. They controlled diamond-rich regions, smuggled diamonds to Europe, sold for weapons and supplies. CIA facilitated, helped with logistics, connected buyers and sellers. The war killed 500,000 people, but it generated billions in diamond trade. The money trail created war economy. Fighting continued because it was profitable. The pattern. Every Cold War proxy conflict had similar dynamics. Superpowers funded combatants, local elites skimmed money. Conflicts became self-sustaining through criminal economies, drugs, diamonds. Arms trades generated revenue. Wars continued because stopping meant losing income. The Cold War created global criminal networks. These networks still exist, still operate. Afghanistan's opium trade, Latin American cartels, African conflict diamonds, all routes traced to Cold War funding. But there's one more money trail. The most important, currency wars. The financial battlefield of the Cold War. Currency manipulation and economic warfare. US dollar as weapon. Bretton Woods system 1944 to 1971 made dollar global reserve currency. This gave us enormous power. US could print dollars to fund operations, force countries to use dollars for trade, sanction countries by cutting dollar access control. International finance. Soviet Union hated this, tried to create alternative, failed because nobody trusted the ruble. The petrodollar system, 1970s. US makes deal with Saudi Arabia and OPEC. Sell oil only in dollars. In exchange, US provides military protection. This creates permanent dollar demand. Countries need dollars to buy oil, so they must trade with us or hold dollar reserves. This funds US operations worldwide, printing dollars to pay for Cold War. Other countries must accept these dollars to buy oil. Brilliant financial warfare. US can fund operations by printing money. World has to accept it. Economic sabotage. CIA and KGB both practiced economic warfare. CIA operations. Counterfeit Soviet currency, destabilize ruble. Sabotage Soviet technology. Purchases manipulate commodity prices to hurt Soviet exports. Provide economic intelligence to hurt Soviet planning. KGB operations. Industrial espionage to steal Western technology. Manipulation of Western commodity markets. Funding strikes and labor unrest in West counterfeiting dollars, though less successfully. The oil price weapon. 1980s Reagan and Saudi Arabia collaborate, increase oil production, crash oil prices. Soviet Union depended on oil exports for hard currency. Low prices meant economic crisis. 1986. Oil drops from $30 plus to below $10 per barrel. Soviet economy crashes. Can't fund military. Can't fund operations. This contributes directly to Soviet collapse. The final cost. Total Cold War spending US. $8 to $10 trillion. Total Cold War spending USSR, estimated $7 to $9 trillion. These numbers include military budgets, nuclear weapons, space race, proxy wars, intelligence operations, propaganda, economic aid to allies. Both superpowers spent 30 to 40% of GDP on Cold War competition for decades. This bankrupted the Soviet Union, nearly bankrupted the US. But the money didn't just disappear, it went somewhere. And tracking where reveals the true winners. Part 5. So who actually got rich from the Cold War? Defense contractors. US military-industrial complex made trillions. Lockheed, Boeing, General Dynamics, Northrop, all became giants on Cold War spending. Soviet defense industry similar. Entire cities built around weapons production. Arms dealers, legal and illegal. Billions in commissions facilitating weapons sales. Banks, moving money for both sides. Swiss banks, especially. Billions in deposits from both superpowers, secret funds, criminal networks, drug cartels, arms smugglers, diamond traders, all profited enormously. Afghan warlords, Colombian cartels, African strongmen, all enriched by Cold War money. Intelligence agencies, CIA and KGB became powerful independent actors, controlling billions, operating beyond oversight. The ultimate irony. The Cold War was supposedly about capitalism versus communism, but both sides used criminal capitalism to fund their operations. CIA trafficking drugs, KGB dealing in diamonds, both manipulating currencies and markets. The ideological war was fought with methods that betrayed both ideologies. And today, the networks remain. CIA's financial infrastructure still exists. Russian intelligence still uses Soviet-era money networks. Criminal organizations created during Cold War still operate arms trade, drug trade, conflict, diamonds, all Cold War legacies. The money trail never ended. It just shifted targets. So here's what the hidden money trail reveals. The Cold War wasn't about ideology. It was about control, and money was the weapon. CIA used secret slush funds, drug money, and illegal arms sales to fund operations Congress never approved. KGB used gold reserves, trade manipulation, and criminal networks to fund influence operations worldwide. Both sides created proxy wars that generated their own funding through drugs, diamonds, and arms trades. Both manipulated currencies and economies as weapons. The total cost, $15 to $20 trillion. The beneficiaries, defense contractors, arms dealers, criminal networks, and intelligence agencies. The victims, everyone else. Millions dead in proxy wars, economies destroyed, criminal networks created, democracies undermined, and the methods developed during Cold War, still in use. Afghanistan showed how CIA drug connections work. Ukraine shows modern version of proxy war funding. Economic sanctions are currency warfare. The Cold War ended. The money networks didn't. What do you think? Is modern conflict funded the same way? Are intelligence agencies still operating with secret money? Drop thoughts in comments. Because the Cold War proved something. You can fund anything, if you're willing to work outside the law. And intelligence agencies on both sides were very willing. The money trail behind the Cold War reveals the truth hidden by propaganda. Neither side fought for principle. Both fought for power. And both used money, legal or illegal, to wage the war. The methods they pioneered, secret slush funds, drug trafficking, arms dealing, criminal partnerships, currency manipulation, these are still the tools of modern covert operations. The Cold War was the first fully financialized conflict, where money was the primary weapon, where financial networks were the real battlefield. And we're still living with the consequences. The criminal networks, the corrupt systems, the unaccountable intelligence agencies. The hidden money trail behind the Cold War isn't history. It's the blueprint for how covert wars are still funded today. Follow the money. It always tells the truth.